Okay, everybody, welcome to live Q&A. My name's Andrew Spirit, and Sundays is just an informal Q&A info sharing session for anybody who would like to ask general questions on spirit and angels and energy, psychic mediums, intuitive healing, anything along the lines of general spiritual development. Hi, Aubrey Berry. Messy Poppin, welcome. If you're wondering, this is just a Q&A on spiritual development. I'm a psychic medium and energy healer and spiritual development mentor. So if anybody's interested in spiritual development topics, such as spirit guides and angels or energy healings, how some psychic mediums work, you're welcome to ask your questions on the live, and I'll share with you whatever I can. So feel free to ask anything along the lines of spiritual development questions. Every Sunday, roughly between 4 and 8 p.m. Just an informal live. If you're looking for some online spiritual community groups to join, I can also share or recommend some for you. Any spiritual development topics that might be of interest to you, I can be happy to help you with that. And you're also welcome to join me for live psychic readings on Thursdays. That's on YouTube. Or visit my website if you'd like to know more about me and my one-on-one offerings and services. My website is mediumblessings.weebly.com. So you're welcome to read up more about me there. But for this evening, for Sundays, it's just general Q&A and info sharing. Hi, Izzy. Welcome. So if you have any general topics of interest about spiritual development or specific questions about spirit guides, angels, energy, you're welcome to ask during the live. I'll share with you whatever I know and whatever I've learned. If you're looking for more specific things, if there's something I can't help you with, I know lots of friends and colleagues of mine who will be able to help. So feel free to post and share your questions, spiritual development Q&A. I will post my link to my site as well in the comments. If you'd like to know more about me and my offerings, what I do, sorry about that. Okay, let's get the camera sorted out. Okay. So here is my site posted in the comments. And basically, I'm a one-on-one spiritual development mentor. I'm a psychic medium and energy healer. I offer intuitive Reiki as well. I offer one-on-one sessions both in person and online. Hi, Brooklyn. I'm in Brockville, Eastern Ontario. And I have clients all over the world. So I'm able to do things also online via Zoom, video chat. Similar with my intuitive Reiki healings, I can do remote healing, channel energy remotely. So it doesn't have to be done in person. So Thursdays I'm on Facebook Live, and I basically channel psychic messages to some of the viewers that are tuning in. Spirit guides me randomly to some of the people that are commenting and asking questions, and I offer short psychic messages, readings. You're welcome to check me out on Facebook. My Facebook page is also Mediumblessings-Andrew Spirit. And my website I've posted in the comments, so if you'd like to read up more about me personally and my offerings, what I do more in detail, have a look at my website. And if you're interested either in the Thursday lives or the Sunday Q&As, just subscribe to either my YouTube or Facebook channels or both so that you get notified whenever I go live. Thursdays is always 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Toronto time zone. And Sundays, I try to typically always do the Q&A lives between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This evening was a little bit late. I was way out of town, about an hour away, so it's about an hour late. But typically it's between 4 and 7. So general questions on Q&A, on angels, guides, energy, even Reiki healing, how some psychic mediums work, anything along those lines, I'll be happy to share with you what I can. So feel free to post your questions. And if some of you are looking for some online like-minded spiritual community groups on Facebook, I can recommend a few. Some local, some in other cities, some are universal. They're kind of worldwide. And there are other healers and medium types that are also willing to share information on anything from rituals to smudging techniques and whatever else they wish to share. They include mediums and druids and Wiccans and other types of healers. And a lot of them are happy to share information. So you can get some good free resources either from me or from them. And if you know anybody else who either experiences psychic phenomena, they have psychic abilities, and they want to develop them, or they're not sure how to manage them, or even if they don't know how to handle the energies of other people, I can help with that as well. So please send them my way or have them visit my site just to get a better idea of who I am and what I do. My website, mediumblessings.weebly.com, is posted in the comments. So check that out. And okay, Izzy, I'm seeing your question here. Is eye twitching and ear ringing a form of spiritual communication? The eye twitching, that I'm not sure of at all, but ear ringing can definitely be a sign of spiritual communication. I've had it on and off, not much though, but that can definitely be a sign, similar to clairaudience, where it's like inner hearing. So ear ringing can be. It's just extremely, I find it very, very difficult with the ear ringing, to pinpoint what the exact source is and whether it's in fact coming from spirit or if it's something else. So the answer to that is yes, it can be, but it's difficult to pinpoint, for me anyway, to prove. But psychic mediums would be able to help you with that. If you were to, say, get a private reading, a one-on-one reading, you could find out if you're still having it ongoing, if it's happening to you a lot. So thanks for that question. Okay. Welcome to Tortured Poet and Cherish. Cherish, yeah, astrology, yes, I do. Astrology, similar to numerology and the realm of spirit, is a huge rabbit hole. Lots and lots of information. And yes, I do find a lot of validity in astrology. I don't know a lot about it myself, but I do believe it's very helpful, very interesting. I think astrology ties in with spiritualism very much so. So if that's something that you are interested in or are drawn to, I'd say it's very, very valid. There are some amazing astrologers that can map out and chart some of your soul purpose and the attributes of the reasons why you're here. So yes, astrology I find to be very important and helpful as well. There's so many different modalities, but I think they all tie in with each other. So yes, we are definitely influenced by the planets as well. So great question. Izzy, could it mean someone's talking about you? I've heard that being said as many times. I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard that they say when your ear rings, someone is talking about you. I can't say yes or no for certain. Clairaudience is not one of my personal abilities or senses. I'm clairvoyant and claircognizant. Those are my main strengths, but I wouldn't rule it out. Let's see. You could always, if you really wanted to, confirm it with a medium who's very clairaudient, who has the clairaudient strength. It's not one of mine though, but I can't say no. So it's definitely possible. There's so many different ways, whether it's psychic mediums, astrologists, numerologists, tarot readers even. There's a lot of different modalities, but a lot of them can be very, very accurate. So it depends on the medium. It's kind of like any trade or profession, whether it's a medium, a healer, or a doctor, or a plumber, or a lawyer. You get the good and the bad and the ugly. So it all depends on the intention, how they use their abilities. So did I develop my abilities or did they just appear? So I basically, in my case, I had to develop them. They were very gradual. Everybody's different. Some go from normal one day and the next day their third eye is blown wide open and it's like they were hit by a train and they don't know what's going on. For me, it was the opposite. All I did was start to learn how to meditate. And then from there, gradually things developed without me planning for them to. So with me, it was, I developed it. So I used to believe that you're either born a medium or you're not, very black and white. But that's not the case. You can develop early in life or much later in life. I have friends who've had it since they were children or teens. Me, if I ever did have it, I must have shut it down completely because mine developed much, much later in life. So yes, it can develop. Everybody has some degree of psychic ability, some more than others, but it can be developed. Depending on how badly you want to work on it and how much time and energy you put into it, you can develop and strengthen it. Some take longer to develop, some quicker. Everybody's unique. There's no set rule, but anyone can develop and work on it. Same as meditation or even working a physical muscle. It's kind of like muscle memory. The more you do it, the better you get. Developing the psychic stuff is generally not very easy, but if you really are interested enough, if it's something that you're interested and passionate about, you can absolutely develop it. So another good question, great question, good question. Very good question. So yeah, if you know anybody else who finds this interesting, have them join in and they can have an opportunity to ask some of their questions. There are lots of people who have abilities and either don't talk about them because either they don't have anyone to share it with, or a lot of them have a fear of being ridiculed or judged, because that does happen. A lot of them live in, say, more remote or isolated areas, or very kind of conservative backward towns and areas. So for some people, it's hard to openly express their interest in spirit and mediumship and energy and things like that. So if you know anyone who needs someone to talk to, have them tune into my lives either on Sunday on YouTube or Thursdays on Facebook, because I can definitely connect them with online groups where they can find a lot of like-minded people like themselves. So I can connect and a lot of people and share lots of online resources. As for being a medium, is it scary? For me, no. I'm not an extremely empathic person, so I don't feel it as bad as some mediums do. I'm able to be in big crowds for extended periods. I don't need to be away from people a lot. One day is enough for me. So for me, I'd say no. I think for most mediums, my assumption or my belief is that I probably would say no as well. There are a few that don't like it because the energy can be overwhelming, especially the ones that are true empaths. They feel everything on a deeply emotional level. For them, I could see them saying yes, but for me, it's no. It's not scary. I find it helpful and interesting and kind of healing. I find it healing. So for me, not at all. And while I remembered, so on my website, I've got a tab that says, I believe it's books and other interesting reads, or my book and other interesting reads. So I wrote a book a few years ago. It's available online. There is a link to it that brings you to the Balboa, the publishing place. I self-published it, so it's all my own. It's not edited. It's all my own words. It's well written. It's easy read. You can read it, start at the back, the front, the middle. It's got some of my personal information, how my consciousness developed. It's got a Q&A section when I was practicing my channeling at the end of the book. It's got a little bit of channeled material in between. So if that interests you, you could check that out, or look at all the other books I've read in sort of my favorites, the most helpful ones. That's also on my website. So you can get a lot of really good books. There's tons of videos as well, but I find books can be just as helpful. Hi and welcome to Kichi Kim, all the way from Philippines. So it must be pretty late in the evening, or maybe it's morning by you already. Welcome. So we're just having a Q&A info share on spiritual development. So if you have any general questions about angels, guides, energy, psychic mediums, intuitive Reiki. I do offer intuitive Reiki healing as well. I offer one-on-one psychic mediumship readings and also do mentoring, spiritual development mentoring. So if any of those things interest you, I do them not only in person, I also do them online. Same with my healings. I can channel healing energy remotely. So you can be in the comfort of your own home or your own personal space. And I can channel the healing remotely, so long distance. Hi, Aneth, welcome. There's that. And like I said, I know of a whole bunch of online spiritual community groups on Facebook. If you're interested in connecting with them, there are other healer types and psychics that offer free information, free resources as well. So if any of that interests you, or if you have friends or know anyone who's looking for something like this, send them our way. Invite them to join the YouTube live on Sundays or the Facebook live on Thursdays. And yeah, I'd be happy to share whatever I've learned, what I know about spiritual development. So I'll remain online for a while. I usually stay on. It can be anything from 20 minutes to 45 minutes or more, depending on how many questions come through. So I will remain on for a little bit longer to see if anybody else has questions. So anything with spiritual development, anything related to general spiritual development. Okay, Aneth, what does it mean to be connected to spirit world? For me, that basically simply means when you are aware of spirit guides and the non-physicals that are trying to communicate with you, when you are consciously aware of the signs that are reaching you, whether it's clairaudiently, clairvoyantly, just being aware of spirit and guides that are just communicating or connecting with you. Basically, to me, it just means you're aware of them. Being connected means you're aware of them. You know when they're around. You're open to spirit. You don't just focus on the physical environment. That's what it means for me. Also, actually, another good point to just come to mind that maybe will be helpful is everything is done or happens in divine order. So we can't always control what goes on in the world. Some of it's good, some of it's unpleasant. Everything has its place. The universe doesn't have preferences, and it's very impersonal. So although it's not nice to say or think of it this way, but even negative things have their place or their purpose. We as humans don't have to like it, but everything is here for a reason. We don't control everything. We can't have everything always going well and always being happy and healthy and safe. This physical world is a world of duality and polarity, extremes from most positive to most negative. So we're not really in control of this planet. We may think we are to some point, but everything has a purpose. So unfortunately, we can't just eliminate everything that's negative and expect everything to be positive all the way. We have to, or we don't have to, we have free will, but the challenge is to be the best version of yourself, be as authentic as you can, whether things are going very well or very unpleasantly in the world. You do what you can, but you can't control everything. So everybody comes from a different background, a different culture, a different upbringing. So if I was raised and grew up, say, in Tibet, I would believe my beliefs would be more aligned with the Tibetan way. If I was raised in China, my beliefs would be more in line with where I grew up. So I can't say I'm right and everybody else is wrong, or vice versa. Depending where you grew up, what your mentors and elders and parents taught you, that has an impact on your belief system. So I can't say my way is better, or my gods or my angels are more important or know better or more correct, because that's just that's not really fair or accurate. Depending where you grew up and what you were taught, we take on a lot of programming. And same as me, when I grew up, I believed everything I was told by adults because I didn't question. I just assumed they know better. So depending on where you grow up, that's going to have an impact on what you believe. So everybody has their own truth or own version. So for me, the best is to be inclusive. Let everybody find their own way. Everybody's soul is unequal. It's very complicated. I'm just trying to explain in a very basic way, according to my own understanding. That's my opinion anyway. It's just an opinion. Everybody's got to listen to their own heart, follow their own path. Hi, Billy. As for ghosts, if you mean deceased people that are still hanging around on the earth plane, if you mean that, if that's what you mean by ghosts, then yes, I am aware that when people physically die, they leave their physical body and they cross over. Some of them do not want to go all the way through into the light back to the divine source. Some of them prefer to linger around on the earth plane. Some of the biggest reasons for that is they fear that when they go and meet the divine source, or I'll use the word God just to make it simple so people know what I'm talking about. When they go and meet the maker, the creator of everything, some of them fear that they'll be judged, especially if they made a lot of mistakes or didn't feel that they lived a very good life. They may be too afraid of being judged or punished or sent down the other way, which isn't realistic anyway. So they linger around on the earth plane. They still have free will. They don't have to go anywhere right away. So some of them just linger around on the earth plane because it's more comfortable and they feel safer. Others are attached to the loved ones that are left behind, or they're very attached to the house or the building they grew up in, or the land. So some of them can choose to hang around on the earth plane, kind of like a ghost. They don't have to go back to God or source right away. It's kind of like as above, so below. You still, when you cross over, you still have some free will. So you can choose to stall and just hang around for a while and not cross over. There's no judgment on the other side. It's not like we think. You can balance out everything that you didn't do so well when you were in the physical. You can balance that out with positive energy, good deeds, things like that. So that's kind of my understanding. So, oh, okay, you're welcome. So I'm glad I kind of explained it well enough, I think. And if you want more detail, we can also kind of dig a little bit deeper and go into that. But we've had some really good questions. Really good questions tonight. So okay. So if anybody else has questions, you're welcome. Like I said, if you need another minute or two. Oh, and also if you happen to come up with questions during the week or after the live's done, if you just write them down and keep a note of them, you can bring them to the next live. You happen to join in, and we can discuss them then. Okay, do you believe if pets go to heaven? So, yep, I think pets absolutely go to heaven, especially pets like dogs and cats. Dogs, they're like unconditional love. That's probably why they don't have to live very long physically. They already know how to love unconditionally. So I think they're just here more for our benefit, to teach us things. But yes, I personally, from what I understand, pets do go back to heaven or source, just like every other living being does. That's my understanding. That's what I've kind of gathered and learned. And pets don't have egos. They're just purely instinctual. They work on instinct. They don't hold grudges. They're instinctual. They learn. They kind of sort things out by themselves. They figure out who's boss, who's in charge. You know, they find their place. They don't work with ego. So my answer is absolutely yes to that. Billy's question, what about tarot cards or like tarot readings? Are those real? So yes. So tarot cards, it depends on the medium. So there are, like I was saying earlier, whether you're a lawyer, a plumber, a doctor, or a medium, you get the good and the bad. So if the medium is really good, whether they are like me and just use energy, like I don't use tools, I don't work with tools, or I have friends that use tarot and they can be amazingly accurate, excellent readers. So it depends on the medium. The tarot cards itself are not good or bad. Whether it's tarot cards or angel cards or crystals or rune stones, it's not the tools. It's the intention of the medium or user of the tools. So tarot cards, yes, if they're used by the right medium, they can be very, very accurate. it just, if you get the right medium, you're good. Whether it's tarot or crystal or runestones or nothing, if you've got the right medium, you're fine. You're good. Okay. Yeah. So I tried to learn tarot. I wanted to learn it, and I've tried working with crystals. We don't seem to like each other. Tarot and me just did not work. It actually gets in my way. So I just have to use a direct energetic connection. I wanted to use tools, but Spirit didn't want me to work that way, so I don't use anything. I have one Spirit Totem card deck that I use, but I've only used it a handful of times for other people. I hardly use it. For me, it's just pure energy connection. I have other friends that are very gifted in tarot. Another one is uses rune stones with symbols on them. So it's just basically how they connect. It's just a tool. So it's kind of like whether you're using dental tools or plumbing tools, it's all up to the skill of the user. So you can get very good mediums. You can also get mediums that don't use their abilities for the highest good, unfortunately. So all depends on the user. Also, it came up last week. The Ouija board topic came up last week. Ouija boards have a bad name and a bad rap. And that's because unless you're extremely well taught and trained how to use an Ouija board, don't touch it. I won't touch one because I've never been trained to. I don't feel drawn to, so I don't need to. So it's not the board itself that's evil. It's how you use it. A lot of people have not been trained how to use that, and so they've unintentionally opened portals and brought in negative things because they didn't know how to use the board. So it's not necessarily the board or the device that's bad. It's the intention behind the user. The biggest thing is intention. Everything is about intention. So you need to be really trained to, and that's usually the case. Teens or kids play with it for fun because it's interesting and exciting and amusing, but they are not usually taught how to do it. So they unintentionally open the doorway to all sorts of things. So anything can come through. It's not always positive. So that's the thing with playing with complex, potent tools. It would be like giving a very sharp instrument to a young person that's never used the tool in their life. Could go okay, maybe not. It all depends. So there's some risk. There's always some risk involved. So that's why I'll never touch an Ouija board. I've never been guided by Spirit to use one or experiment with one. And I won't use it on anybody or even myself because I'm not trained to do that. So I know not to touch things I'm not experienced with using or meant to use. Like with the tarot, I tried a little bit, but I found it blocking me and we just didn't like working with each other. So you basically got to follow what Spirit feels they would like you to do and work the way they want you to work. So everything is intention. So you could use a piece of paper and draw your own tool or use a stick. But if you have the ability and you use the right intention, it can work. So unfortunately, teens get their hands on them and they sell them in like a nice box of packaging as gifts. They're not taken seriously enough, unfortunately. So things can sometimes go wrong. I've heard of enough incidences where they have. So only use what you feel drawn to use. If you feel drawn to use, for me, if you're interested in experimenting with tools of divination, the easiest to start with for me is typically oracle cards or angel cards. They're not as sort of tarot is more detailed. There's more of a story. You have to learn and understand the story of the tarot. Oracle and angel cards are open to a wider interpretation. You could even make your own set of cards. So easy things like that. If you feel the energy in crystals, you could try and use those too. Pendulums are also pretty basic. A pendulum's a cool, easy tool. You start off with basic yes and no's. Calibrating your pendulum, getting to know what means yes, what means no, and a little bit further than that, what is a maybe. Pendulums are safer and easier. So that's a more an easier tool to begin with. Those cards or pendulums, if you're interested. or you could just use your own direct connection if you're not drawn to tools. Experiment with a few different things if you feel drawn to. So yeah, excellent questions, very good questions. And for those that have jumped on now just recently, you can join me on Facebook on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Toronto time zone. My website's also in the comments near the beginning somewhere, I think. And just look for the yellow Mediumblessings-Andrews. It's mediumblessings.weebly.com. That'll have more about my personal info, my offerings, and what I do. So check that out if that interests you. And yeah, just make it okay. So last call to anybody. If anybody still has questions, I'll stay on for another few seconds or so, just to make sure everybody's had a chance to ask. If you can't think of anything else, just make a note of things. If they come up during the week, write them down and just bring them to the next live if you like. And subscribe to the channel so you'll get notified as soon as I do go live. So I'm going to sign off soon. And while I remember, thank you for all the good questions. If you wouldn't mind sharing on your social media, whether it's my website or anything else on the live you can share, or invite any like-minded friends you know of who are looking to connect with somebody, need a bit of help, or looking for some online spiritually like-minded Facebook groups, I can share some of those too. So I'm going to sign off now. But thanks to everybody who tuned in, and thanks for the excellent questions. We had a whole bunch. Billy and Tom and Cherish and Aneth, Izzy as well. Some great questions. So thanks again, everybody, and I hope to see some of you next Sunday and or Thursday during the live. So take care for now. Bye, everyone.